Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Petite technical webinar. In today's session, we will show you how to set up the Assemble and Procore integration. Looking at the attendees list, I do see a lot of familiar names, but I'm also seeing a lot of new names as well. So I am going to ask our presenter to give you a brief overview of Assemble before we dive into the integration. It is my pleasure to introduce you to today's speaker, Aryan Saidfar, Customer Engineer at Assemble Systems. Go ahead, Aryan.
Thank you, Samira, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar today. So first of all, I'll start with what is Assemble. Assemble is a data management software which is fully cloud-based and unlocks the power of your 3D model, and it helps you to minimize the risk of your project, to understand the scope of the project better, and improve the efficiency of your projects. The workflow of using Assemble is very simple. You just publish your project to your cloud-based site. You can manage the project in cloud, and then you can share it with all of the stakeholders of the project. Assemble doesn't have a really big software to install. There is just a plugin that will be installed on top of Revit and AutoCAD, and you can publish your models from Revit or AutoCAD into your cloud-based site. After publishing the models, you have the list of all of the projects in this site. Each project has a card that you can manage. You can create more projects here, or you can control the administration settings by clicking here, or you can invite as many people as you like to this particular site. I have this Autodesk Hospital project open in this tab, so I'm going to jump into this project. After opening up a project, here's the main project dashboard. On the left-hand side, you have the list of all of the models that you have published from Revit or AutoCAD. So each model represents a separate Revit file or some linked file or extra files in AutoCAD. And on the right-hand side, you have the list of all of your saved views and shared views. These views contain the filters that you have created inside Assemble and all of the properties that you have assigned to the object, as well as the 3D demonstration of those objects. By clicking on Edit Project, you're able to invite more people and add more people to this specific project, modify the project information. If you're using any codes, you can manage them right here, or you can change the project units from Imperial to metric. All right. So I'm going to show you the architectural model today, which I have it open in this tab. After opening up a model inside Assemble, you will see three main sections. On the left-hand side, you have the model tree. On top, you have the viewer, or you have the inventory, and right here you have the 3D viewer. The model tree contains the list of all of the models that you have published into Assemble, and by expanding each model, you can see all the categories existing in that model, and then all the families and all the types that you have in this project. And all of the data here is coming from Revit, so you don't have to do anything. It's just as simple as pushing a button in Revit, and all of the information will show up here in Assemble. Also, using the model tree, you're able to select some of the objects based on their categories, families, or types, and you can make changes to the visibility of the object. For example, you can hide others and see all the basic files in the project. And Assemble will show you all of the basic files in the projects. All right. So I'm going to unhide my architectural model, go back to the other sections. Other than the model tree, we have the 3D viewer and the inventory, which are connected together. In the 3D viewer, if you hover your mouse over any of the objects here, you will see the name, source ID, and quantity. And by clicking on that particular model, Assemble will look up the object in the inventory, and you can see all the quantities and basic dimension information of the object. And you can see that this object has this type and family and category. In order to access more information, you can click on the Properties panel on the right-hand side, where you have access to Assemble properties and also the model properties. So model properties are all of the properties that are coming from Revit or AutoCAD, And in your Revit models, if you are publishing from Revit, you're able to modify some of the information here and then push it back to Revit. And the Assemble properties contain the list of extra properties that you have inside Assemble, and you can assign them to the objects. These are customizable, but these are the fields that you get by default: activity IDs, bit packages, cost codes, and so on. As an instance, I can, for example, assign an issue or comment. Review this instance. And you can see that Assemble can assign these comments to the objects. All right. So here is how you can select the objects, go to the Properties panel, and you can modify any of the information, or you can assign more information in the model properties. You can change the quantity type from square feet, or you can assign unit cost to the objects, or an Assemble will calculate the total cost, or you can assign color overrides to keep track of specific objects in the project. Right? I'm going to move on from this one. And then I'm going back to the model tree where I can explain about the visibility settings. So by clicking on visibility settings, you have access to more advanced filtering tools. You can create rules inside Assemble and filter the object based on those rules. If I click on add a rule, Assemble allows me to say show only or hide all, and you can select the object based on any of the properties that you have here. For example, I can say show only the category name walls and with function interior. So Assemble is going to basically show me all of the interior walls in the project like this, right? Or for example, if I want to see all of the objects that I have assigned any issues or comments to them, I can come here and say hide all of the objects that their issues or comment field is blank. And here I have all of the objects that I have assigned any issues or comments to them before in the project. And as an instance, I want to share a view of all of the issues and comments in the project to my Procore site, and then I can have access from my Procore project to this view and all of the issues and comments that I have assigned to the object. But before sharing this view to Procore, I need to modify and sort this inventory based on my needs. By clicking on columns, I'm able to remove the columns that I don't want to see in this project. So I'm going to remove all the columns, and instead I'm going to add issues or comments. And you can see that you're able to assign and add any of the properties that you have in Assemble properties and model properties as a comment to Assemble. So I'm going to have the issues or comments here, and when you expand each one, you will see all of the comments that is assigned to the objects right here. And also, you're able to change this grouping from the category to any of the properties that you have on the object. So for example, you can see all of the objects here based on their levels, based on any other properties. So for now, I'm going to stick with the category. So I have all of my objects based on their categories, and then families and the instances that I have in the project, and all of the issues and comments. So at this point, I can either save this view and have this view in my Assemble project, or I can click on this share button inside of Assemble and share this view outside of Assemble to my Procore project. So when I click on this share button right here, I will name it issues and comments. I will click on save and share, and I should toggle on the share outside of Assemble button, and I can tell Assemble to share only the viewer or the viewer and inventory. So you have these two choices, I'm going to share the viewer and the inventory as well. I click Save. And if I go back to the list of my saved views in the project, I should see this view here. And this little share icon means that I can share this view outside of Assemble to my Procore project. So if I go to Procore and click on my project here, I can see this Assemble tab that's in my Procore project, and I can click on Assemble tab. And here is the list of all of the views that I have added to Assemble to my Procore project before. I can click on this button and add more Assemble views. And I will search for this site, this project, and I will look for issues and comments and add this specific view to Procore. All right, so I can open my view inside Procore and see my Assemble model with all of the information in the inventory. I can navigate the model, click on the objects, and see all of the details that I have in this project. So you can see all of the objects with all of their comments, and the viewer is loading up. And you can actually create views based on any of the properties. If you have assigned any RFIs, RFI questions or RFI answers to the project, you can do that and add those columns as properties in this inventory and share those information to your Procore project. And there I have all of my objects that have issues or comments. So for example, I can click on this one and see, for example, the issues and comments here, or this one as an instance with this one as issues or comments, right? So this is my overview of the integration between Assemble and Procore.